Good afternoon, YouTube people. Today I'm joined by Silas Hawkins, who is a renowned voiceover expert on the television, and he's done various shows. His father is actually featured in Doctor Who. Peter Hawkins. And I'm going to introduce you now to Silas, who is going to talk to you for about 5 or 10 minutes about what he does. Here we go.
Hello everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I left his pen. Yes, well, I'm an actor. I sort of served my apprenticeship in Fringe. I've done about 12 Shakespeare plays. I think my favourite role was probably Roderigo in Othello, who's a bit of a twit. He's normally taken to be a bit creepy and sinister, but I played him more like Andrew Aguecheek, who was the foil to Toby Belch in Twelfth Night. He was a sort of upper-class twit. And, oh dear, oh, you'd like all my money? All right, you can have all my money. So, that sort of fellow. And on the other hand, I've also played wicked Uncle Antonio in The Tempest, who is an utter swine who exiles his brother, banishes his brother to an island with his tiny daughter, and then tries to incite his friend Sebastian to bump off his brother in a similar way. So, yes, villains, one comic and one rather nastier. And so that was the Shakespeare bit. Also done Romeo and Juliet and Much Ado About Nothing.
And what's your interest in cryptozoology?
Well, I had a hippie-ish friend I shared a flat with for a while, and he had... Louder! I had a hippie-ish friend with whom I shared a flat for quite some time, and he had a copy of Bernard Heuvelmann's book On the Track of Unknown Animals, Sur la piste des animaux inconnus. And I was very taken with that. I think I had read some vaguely cryptozoological stuff as a child, but the Heuvelmann's book kind of rekindled that interest. And then, much later on, after all my Shakespeare experience, I took part in an evening of animal-related art at the Royal Academy in Piccadilly in London. And I was reading some Philip K.Dick sci-fi stories from, oh God, I can't remember the lady's name, it'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, including one about a chap who turns works of art into animals to try and preserve them from the barbarians. But then when he comes to translate them back again, they come out all garbled, except for the Beethoven bug, which is busy devising its own new art forms. So it's a cheerful story. And also one about a dog who has a strange relationship with the dustbin men, and he thinks that the dustbin is the offering receptacle. It's a sort of grail or chalice or something where the holy offerings are put out. And he gets terribly traumatized by the bin men when they come and take it all away. So, and at this artistic gathering was Jonathan Downes and his cryptozoological friends, and having seen me portray Sergei Eisenstein, the Russian director of Battleship Potemkin, raving on about Walt Disney, which is a real rant of his. This has been recorded, and we were playing around with the sound system as well, which was fun. And I had a magnificent, strange Russian costume. I was actually dressed as Ivan the Terrible because we couldn't find an image of Eisenstein. So I was dressed as Ivan the Terrible and ranting on about Walt Disney and his creations. He loved Walt Disney, but he hated American capitalism, so he was a totally conflicted fellow in this respect.
Do you know the rant? Can you recite it for us? I'm trying to remember. It featured an esoteric bit of, I think, Bavarian German dialogue, something about a Rückrück, a reversal or an overturning. Actually, I had to ring a German-speaking friend to see if he could elucidate. But Eisenstein was raving on about the sort of
polymorphous perversity of Disney's creations about how one animal could kind of morph into another. It's really quite strange how the platypus dog could become the elephant terrapin, or I'm paraphrasing, but along those lines.
Are you familiar with a work called The Jabberwocky?
Jabberwocky, yes, the poem. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves and the mome raths outgrabe. And so on, yes.
It's very good. Well, that was very interesting.
Is that it? Have you done?
I think so, unless you have anything more to say.
Oh, I have a lot more to say.
Tell me about what your subject was, what you spoke about at the Weird Weekend, and why you chose it.
The first one?
Yes.
I didn't actually choose it. John Downes wanted me to impersonate Charles Fort, the famous, well, the origin of the word Fortean phenomena, unexplained things that scientists wish to sweep under the carpet, but journalists have inconveniently recorded. So I've been Charles Fort, I've been Barnum, there's one born every minute. I've recreated things like Ape Canyon, accounts, famous cryptozoological texts. And this year I've been reading from Richard Freeman's wonderful short stories, anthology of short stories, Green Unpleasant Land. The first one was a short one about a sort of King of the Wood number where one ghost comes to replace another. Last night's one was about Drake's Briar, which is about a sort of Lovecraftian dragon that lives in a hill, a sort of spectral dragon. And tonight's offering is a tour de force, Arthur Machen-esque story about the fairies, but not as little gauzy winged creatures, as sinister subterranean entities, a sort of primal race. So that affords great scope for many different accents, and I hope to entertain my fellow Fortean speakers.
Do you have some examples of some accents that you want to do to entertain the YouTube listeners? Maybe, do you know any Shakespearean speeches, to be or not to be?
I'm trying to think what is... well, it's Henry V. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene.
That's very good, very, very good.
I have Friar Lawrence as well. Can I just witter on a bit about my voiceover, just very quickly?
Yes, please,
In 2005, I did put all the voices and animal noises for a stop-frame children's animation called Somerton Mill for Pete Bryden and Ed Cookson. They were the animators, and they did a wonderful set. It was rather bit Houseman-esque, Shropshire Laddish in its conception, because the intro to it was a haunted water mill, and when the water wheel turns in the old mill, then the ghosts come back to visit. But having said which, once the ghosts have come back, we're all in real life again, so it's all very jolly, and silly things like chickens falling down a hole and having to be rescued, and there's a loony dog called Fluffer, who looks more like a teddy bear than a dog, and a sock that is stuffed to make a little creature and then comes to life, and a bottle organ, and the most dramatic episode for which they won an award for their animation was kite flying, in which they spent ages combing the dog's fur back and forth to simulate the action of the wind when the stop frame was working. So I've got 3 human characters in that. I've got Dan, who's a bit dim, he's not quite with it, he's got hair like a blonde chimney sweep's brush. And there's Dr. Neighbour, who's an Indian doctor, and he humours Anne a lot. Anne? Oh dear, Freudian slip. He humours Dan a lot of the time, because he's a very nice fellow, but I don't think he's quite all there, you know. And Dr. Neighbour is married to Mrs. Neighbour, who's very much the sort of voice that my father used to do for a character called Big Fat Rosie on Listen with Mother, I think it was featured. So she was very much like that. She was a sort of falsetto pantomime dame. You know, oh, Fluffer, would you give me that sock, please? And stop chewing it. You can have a little biscuit if you're very good. So that kind of thing. And the chickens who didn't cluck, they went beep, 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 beep. Strange noises and would roll about like balls. I think we've just run out of juice, have we not?
Really not, yes. So what I'll do is we'll stop it there, and I will interview Silas later on and do some more with Silas a bit later on.